Kandanamosde. Saptanganjana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavadeshwari Vrishabhanasube Devi Pranamami Haripriya Pancha Kalpadarupesha Kripasindubhe Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Vishnapadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamini Vinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshvarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna everyone. So it's only Sarvanindri Padma Devi Das Mataji, Nima Mataji, Aravind Gyani Prabhu, Kishore Kumar Prabhu and Anita Mataji, right? Okay. Others have all got the marks. 5 of you. Okay. So after the breakout room, I'll just give the marks. Okay. We'll continue with the chapter 8. So chapter 8 is about attaining the supreme. Okay. And then first 4 slokas is about Lord Krishna answers Arjuna's question. Arjuna asks some very wonderful questions here. And 5 to 8 slokas is remembering Krishna at the time of death. Very important aspect. Okay. And Manishi Mataji also. Okay. So, okay. So this I'll come later. So the first 2 slokas is about the questions and the next 2 slokas about Krishna's answers. Arjuna uvaja kim tad brahma kim atyatmam kim karma purushottama adibhudam cha kim proktam adidevam kim uchyate. Arjuna inquired, "O my Lord, a supreme person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me." So that's the first question. And then he again asked, Adi yajna kadam ko atra dehe asmin madhusudana prayana kale chakatam nyayo asi niyatatmavi. Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So these are the questions which Arjuna asked. Okay, what is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adi Buddha, Adi Deva, Adi Yajna? How is Adi Yajna known in the body? And how to know Krishna at the point of death? Prayana Kale. And then what does Krishna reply? Shri Bhagavan Vaja Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate Buddha Bhavodbhavakaro Visarga Karma Samhita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman and his internal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. Adibhudam Sharo Bhava Purushashchadi Devatam Adi Yajno Aham Evatra Dehe Deha Bridambara. O best of the embodied beings, a physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adi Buddha. That is the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of sun and moon, is called Adi Deva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yajna, the Lord of sacrifice. So these are the questions. The first 2 slokas. So what is Brahman? That is Jiva. Okay. That is the indestructible Aksharam, transcendental living entity separate from the material body. So that is the Jiva. Jiva is Brahman. And Krishna is Parabrahman. Okay. Which verse does Arjuna address Krishna as Parabrahman? Does anyone know? And when did he do that? Parabrahman. No idea. In the 10th chapter.
Vishwarup Darshan Mataji?
Not Darshan, yeah, before that, the Chaturth Sloki of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says Aham Sarvasya Prabhu and all that. It's a theory of Vishwarupa, yes, you're right, but then not before the Vishwarupa. It was like a theoretical explanation. Krishna says, I'm the source of everything and all that, the 4th Chaturth Sloka. And after that, 10.12. Arjuna says, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vipo. So there he refers to Krishna as Parabrahman. We are Brahman, the living entity, Aham Brahmasmi, and Krishna is Parabrahman. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both are not the same, although the word Brahman is sometimes also used to refer to the Supreme Lord, but he is Parabrahman. And what is Adhyatma? The Subhava, the eternal nature or the impression that accompany the jiva and governing the body. What is karma? Fruitive activities of the jiva that lead to the transmigration from one body to another. It is the very creation of material bodies by force of material consciousness. Karmana Deva Nitrena. So based on our karma and based on Krishna's sanction, we get different bodies. And he asked, what is Adibhuta? Adibhuta is Prakriti, the material nature, which is constantly changing. Okay, material body consisting of material elements. So Prabhupada says, this material nature, Durga Devi, is Krishna's servant. Krishna says, Devi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durateya. So that is also Krishna's energy. She's the servant of Krishna and constantly serving Krishna. So she's under the control of the Lord. Adideva is the Virat Purusha, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods and their planets. Adiyatnya is the Paramatma, the enjoyer of all sacrifice. The Supreme Lord is the Super Soul. So which the Lord is there as Paramatma in the heart. What is the form or it's called as? Which Vishnu?
Shirodagi Sai Vishnu.
Shirodagi Vishnu is the Paramatma form. And what's the size of the Paramatma? Mentioned in the
8
Bhagavad.
inch, 8 inch.
Or
9 inch, Mataji. 8 inch or 9 inch.
Thumb to little finger.
Thumb
Thumb to the-
size of the thumb. Size of the thumb,
he
Mataji.
became the size of the thumb to enter into Uttara's womb. But he is not the size of the thumb. He became the size of the thumb to enter into Uttara's womb to save Parikshit Maharaj. But what is the size of Paramatma? 8 inch or, yes, 8 inch. But then between the thumb and the distance between thumb and the
Little finger.
Index finger.
huh?
Index.
Little finger.
Ring
Little finger.
Ring finger, not little finger. Okay, the size between the size of the thumb and the ring finger, this much. So that's the size 8 inch, the Paramatma size. Shirodagi Vishnu, the 400 form. How is Adi Yatna known in the body? In the heart of every embodied being, Krishna is present. Okay. Okay, so how to know Krishna at the point of death? This is the main subject matter of the rest of the chapter that we'll discuss. So these questions, do you see it somewhere? What these questions which Arjuna asked, is it referring to something, or can you categorize as what? Did you hear this question somewhere else? I mean, what is the essence? We have covered almost everything, right? Brahman, so there is Jiva, there is Karma.
Previous chapter, Mataji.
Huh?
Chapter number 7, Arjuna had asked these questions to Lord Krishna.
Is 7
Previous
also.
chapter.
Okay. So that means this is the basic things which is covered in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So the 5 subject matters in Bhagavad Gita is Jiva, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. All the 5 things have been asked here. Yeah, almost like chapter 2 also. So that means the whole Bhagavad Gita is discussing all these things. First is Jiva, then there is Ishvara, then there is Prakriti, then there is Karma, that is fruitive activities, then Kala, that is the time. So these are the 5 things: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. So these are 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. So that's being discussed here. So other important points on 8.1 is indicate Krishna to be the supreme person, not simply a friend. He's a supreme authority, able to give definite answers. So Arjuna is calling Krishna as Madhusudana. Why Krishna got the name Madhusudana? Put in the chat. So the demons are considered to be the like doubts are considered to be demons in us. So doubts are considered to be demons. So what happens? Krishna will kill the demons. So similarly, Krishna can destroy the doubts like demons. Yeah. So he killed the demon Madhu. That's why he got the name Madhusudana. Right. So similarly, Krishna can kill the demon of doubt in Arjuna's heart. So that that's why he's been addressed as Madhusudana. Prayana Kale means at the time of death. That's very important, no? It's not important how we live, but then the art of leaving the body is very important. And how we think at the time of death, that's what we attain. So it's very important. That's why Prabhupada's like you're chanting Hare Krishna and doing devotional service so that it becomes a part of your life. And then at the time of dangers or at the time of death, what happens? You can remember Krishna. It's a crucial time when whatever we do throughout our life will be tested, indicates Arjuna's anxiety, the position of Krishna conscious devotees at the time of death. So what will happen? Yeah. So the demons, the doubts are considered to be demons. What will happen if a devotee die at the time of sleep or an accident? Then
Lord
Krishna
remembers him,
remembers,
Mataji. Lord
Krishna remembers.
yeah, so Krishna says,
Krishna himself remembers.
I will remember those devotees, right? But for that, we should become a devotee, right? So that means we should be always thinking of Krishna, chanting his holy name and all. So Prabhupada quotes, this is by Kulishekara Alvar in Mukunda Mala Stotra. Krishna Tvadiya Padapangaja Pancharakam Advaitame Dishumana Sarajahamsam Prana Prayana Safe Samaye Kapavada Pitto Kando Varoda Svido Smaranam Kutaste. So he's saying that Prana Prayana Same Kapha Vaya Pitta. So the three elements which our body is made up of is blood, mucus, and bile. Right? So now mucus, Kapha, Vaya, and Pitta, air and bile. So when the throat is choked with cough and the mucus, I won't be able to utter the Krishna's holy name. So let me die now itself, when in a healthy state where I can chant the holy names. That's what he is praying, that my mind may immediately sink down to the stem of the lotus feet of your lordship and be locked in their network. Otherwise, at the time of death, in my final breath, when my throat is choked up with cough, how is it possible to think about Krishna? So that's what he is praying. So difference between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness is material consciousness. We try to load it over. That means to enjoy with the sense gratification. Results is karma, different bodies we get. Spiritual consciousness to serve the Supreme. Living entity is called the marginal entity of Krishna or the Tadastha Shakti, because the living entity sometimes identifies with matter. So sometimes we can go to the external energy of the Lord, the external side, and sometimes we go to the internal part. What happens when the living entity identifies with matter? It takes 84 lakh species of bodies. And basis of transmigration is karma. For elevation to heavenly planets, they perform yajna. In 8.3, the actions that result in the material body, he says about 5 kinds of offering. Okay, like the 5 kinds of fire as conceived in heavenly planets, clouds, earth, man, women. 5 kinds of sacrificial offerings of faith, enjoy on the moon, rain, green, and civil. The process of sacrifice, the living entity makes specific sacrifices to attain specific heavenly planets and consequently reach them. When the merit of sacrifice is exhausted, how do they come? The living entity descends to the earth in form of rain. It takes the form of a grain, and the grain is eaten by the men, and then it's transferred to semen, which impregnates a woman, and then the living entity again attains a human form to perform sacrifice. So it repeats again and again and repeats. But a Krishna conscious person doesn't have to do all these. He directly take to Krishna consciousness, thereby prepare himself to return to Godhead. So sometimes you say, in order to go to the 30th floor, you can take a lift. But then only intelligent people say, oh yes, let's take the lift. It saves energy and time. But others will like, I'm not sure whether the lift will take me to the 30th floor. I'll take the steps. So he'll take the steps. It might be like 6th floor, 7th floor. He is exhausted. That's what happens. So Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is like that lift directly takes us back to Godhead. But then other paths, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it's like the steps. It takes a lot of time. Krishna conscious view is that avoid such sacrifice and take directly to Krishna consciousness to go back to Godhead. The text 8.3 refutes the impersonal commentators who say Brahman takes the form of a jiva in the material world. So they say that, oh, the Lord just takes material form and come, right? No. So Krishna is called Achyuta, right? Because what are the 2 reasons first chapter says why Krishna is called Achyuta? You can raise your digital hand. Why do you think Krishna got another name called Achyuta? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, Lord Krishna, he never fails to, he doesn't forget what his devotee wants. I mean, what his devotee, he has chanted, and he reciprocates to what they are doing. And yeah, that's
Krishna reciprocates, that's one reason. Okay, let's take another reason from Dinesh Prabhu.
Mataji, firstly, he doesn't want to protect his devotees. Secondly, he remains transcendental. When he descends to earth, he doesn't assume a material body.
So yes, so Krishna doesn't fall from the position of being the Supreme Personality Godhead, even though he became the chariot driver for Arjuna, right? So he doesn't fall from the position of being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's one reason. Next is he never fails to reciprocate to his devotees or protect his devotees. Third reason is Krishna never falls down like a material living entity. Like we are pushed into this material world with this material body. But Krishna never falls like that. He appears in his own transcendental form. Okay, so Jiva falls down, that's infallible. That's why Krishna is called Achyutas. Another name is also called same as infallible. Yes. So these are the three reasons why Krishna is called Achyuta. So some people say that Brahman takes the form of a Jiva, but no, Krishna comes in transcendental form. The living entity is the eternal individual soul, and we are part and parcel of Krishna. Mamevamsho Jiva Loge, Jiva Bhuta Sanadana. So we have to distinguish Brahman from Parabrahman. Krishna is Parabrahman. And the 8.5 to 8.8 is about remembering Krishna at the time of death. Ante Narayana Smriti. Okay. Like, so we have two examples. One is Bharat Maharaj, one is Ajamila. So we know the extreme cases. But why did Bharat Maharaj fall? You put in the chat. Why do you think Bharat Maharaj was in the forest and then he got so involved with the deer that he became a deer in the next life? But then why did he have a fall down? He was a devotee throughout his life. And at the end, he got attached to the deer. Yeah, attachment to the deer, that's the reason. But then why? Why did that happen after all? Why do you think Asakti, attachment to the deer, they are fine. But then he had Virakti, no? He left everything and came. He forgot Krishna, but how did he forget? Why did he forget? He was worried about the deer. Why? Yeah, Nima Mataji got it right. Yeah, he was thinking about the deer because he was so attached to the deer at the time of death. But why did he do that? Yes, Dinesh Prabhu, right. So why was it happening? That's my question. No, about his past karma, no. Bharat Maharaj became a deer, then he became Jada Bharat. So they're all pure devotees. They doesn't have past karmas. Okay, why all this happened? Because he didn't have any devotee association. He went to the forest alone. Bharat Maharaj went to the forest alone. And there he got attached to the deer. That's right. And then he was thinking only about the deer. He didn't even chant. He didn't do any devotional service. So if he had another devotee with him, then that devotee might guide him. What are you doing? You're not chanting your rounds. You're not doing devotional service. Okay, deer is fine, but don't get too attached to the deer. So if devotee association is there, he wouldn't have fallen. So Prabhupada mentions that he went alone to the forest and he thought of practicing Krishna consciousness. But on the other hand, Haridas Thakur was also alone in the middle of the night, but he didn't fall. Why? Anybody can unmute. Why didn't Haridas Thakur fall? Yes.
He was constantly chanting Lord's name in
He was
association with
constantly
Lord.
chanting, yes. And he was constantly chanting in the sense he
association.
had a vrata, no? He had an oath of chanting 3 lakh names. Okay. He was persistent, he was determined. And after all, who was he? Who was Haridas Thakur?
Brahma Mataji.
Brahma, or it's also said he is. Somebody has a very bad background noise. Please don't unmute if you have a background noise. You can just put in the chat. Yes, he's Brahma, or there's one more personality, a pure devotee. Haridas Thakur was Brahma and not Narad Muni. Narad Muni is Srivas.
Shiva.
Who Neeraja Mataji?
Shiva.
No, that is Advaita Acharya, Lord Shiva,
Yes.
Shiva and Mahavishnu is Advaita Acharya. Brahma and Prahlad, he was Brahma and Prahlad together. It is said in some scriptures, it is said he is Brahma because of Brahma Vimohan Leela. He was a little proud and all that. And then the next Leela, he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that when you come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let me come as a poor devotee who don't have any pride or anything. So that's how he came as Haridas Thakur. And also it is said that he's Prahlad. So yes, okay, so that is one incident. So association of devotees is very, very important. Okay. And Haridas Thakur was getting association. He was not, even though he was alone, but then constantly chanting the holy name. He was completely immersed in chanting the holy name. That nothing distracted him. Even a prostitute came and she also became a devotee, right? And what about Ajamila? So Ajamila, throughout the life, he was doing sinful activities, but at the end, he chanted Narayan and got a second chance. Don't you think Krishna is partial? Ajamila did, so we all will think we can all be Ajamila. No. But why did Ajamila got saved?
At the time of death, he told Narayana. He
Yeah,
called
but
the name.
then
Because
still,
in his previous life, he was a devotee, Mataji.
not previous life, the same life. Yeah, the
Same life.
Before he went to the forest to collect wood for the sacrifice, and then he saw the prostitute with the Shudra. Before that, Ajamila was a devotee, was a Brahmana, and he was doing nice devotional service, and he just fell down. And as Krishna says, Apichet Sudha Duracharo Bachante Mamananyabha Sadureva Samandavya Samyak Vyavisido, he says in 9.30. Ship then 31. Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvat Chandi Negachati Kaundeya Pradijani Name Bhakta Pranashati. He says, my devotee might fall down, but then still they are considered pure because they constantly chanting. So who gave Ajamila the intelligence to name his younger son Narayan? Krishna only, no? Krishna only made that happen. Why? He was a devotee in his childhood, and at some point he fell down, but then again he was saved. But we can't be like that, right? All of us can't be like that. So once there was an incident in one temple in South India. What happened? One devotee, he's not a devotee, he was having a shop near a temple. So the temple was so famous that people comes to see Lord Krishna there, and he never went to see the Lord. He was not interested. He was just doing the business there. But then one day there was like a procession happening, and the Lord came out on top of an elephant, and he saw the beautiful form of the Lord and got attracted. So every day he goes to the temple and pay obeisances like for half an hour, 45 minutes, and he prays. So everybody asked, what are you praying? He's like, Ante Narayana Smriti. I just want to remember Krishna at the time of death, nothing else. Doesn't ask for anything. So this happened for a long time. And then one day when he was paying obeisances, he didn't get up for hours together, like 1 hour, 2 hours. And everybody's like, what happened to him? So they went and woke him up. He already had left. So his body had already went to rigor mortis. So that was his prayer, that let me remember you at the time of death. And Krishna made that happen. Right? Does anyone know how about Aindradas Prabhu? Who was he? Aindra Prabhu in Vrindavan. Did you hear about him? Prabhupada's disciple? No? Nobody knows? He's so famous. Aindradas Prabhu. His kirtans are so famous.
Yes, Mataji, yes. Ultimately, I think in fire he was caught, no, Mataji?
Ah, yes.
Fire.
Who was he? He started the 24 hours kirtan in Vrindavan. For 24 hours kirtan for 24 years. Okay, for 24 hours kirtan, he started for 24 years. Yeah. So he used to record kirtan in his room, and was like soundproof. So there was a fire accident happening, and the room was jammed because of smoke. And finally, he had to leave the body. He had Gaurnita deities made up of wood, and the whole room burned. He also lost his life, but then the Gaurnita deities didn't get burned at all. And he was seen clasping the feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and then paying obeisances. That's how he left the body. So that's the glory of how that shows how pure devotee he was. In Vrindavan Dham, in the month of Kartik, this happened. Srila Prabhupada was translating Srimad Bhagavatam. His consciousness was fully clear in Vrindavan Dham, in the month of Kartik again, and with the association of devotees, he left. Even Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Prabhupada's another disciple, he was in Mayapur, and he was talking about why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri, which is a Vipralamba Kshetra, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani in separation from Krishna, and Jagannath is Krishna in separation from Radharani. And they both were in ecstasy in Vipralamba Bhav, that he was explaining that, and he was crying. He was holding his Gopal in his hand, the little Gopal, and he was just calling Gopal, Gopal, and he left. So these are all how a pure devotee leaves the body at the time of death, remembering Krishna. Okay, to attain Krishna, one must remember him at the time of death. And this remembrance is more than a mental trick. Right? It's not easy to remember. We have to practice it right now so that we remember. Okay, so you can ask those who have near-death experience, out-of-body experience, who have actually met death. They can see the whole life reeling in front of them. And whichever the part they are so attached to, the mind is so attached to and used to, there it gets stuck. So you get used to Krishna and his holy name and his pastime, so that we remember Krishna at the time of death. And 8.5 and 6 is bhava, which means mood at the death. One will automatically remember the mood he cultivated throughout his life. The most effective means for fixing the mind of Krishna is Harinam Sankirtan. So 8.5 and 6 is very important slokas. You can memorize them. Antakalesya mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayadi samadbhavam yadi nashtatra samshayaha. And whoever at the end of this life quits his body, remembering me alone at once, attain my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajat ante kalevaram tam tame vaidi kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body as son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So this verse stresses the importance of Krishna consciousness. Whoever remembers Krishna at the point of death will attain the supreme destination, attains Krishna's nature. The most effective means for fixing the mind on Krishna is Harinam Sankirtan. Krishna consciousness means being purest of the pure because of constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord who is purest of the pure. Smaranam means remembrance. It's not possible for an impure soul to remember Krishna. We have to purify ourselves by practicing remembrance. If not practice, one cannot remember at the time of death. How to practice remember Krishna to be effective at the time of death is live in the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness, that's why the 4 regulative principles are important. And a life dedicated in the service of Krishna, there's always thinking of Krishna. Constant and insistent chanting of the holy name is the best process, Prabhupada writes. Okay, so I'll put this as an open question to all. What is so specific in this purport? Do you find anything very significant? It's a very small purport Srila Prabhupada have written. Yes.
Mataji, chanting in pure consciousness.
Chanting with nice consciousness. Yes. What else?
Chanting in association,
Constant
devotees
remembering.
association.
Chanting with
Constant
association.
remembering.
From the beginning of life,
Yes, Mataji.
from childhood, Mataji.
From childhood.
From childhood.
More than that, there is something very nice.
Should tolerate all the impediments.
Huh?
Smaranam,
Should
Mataji.
tolerate
Smaranam.
all the impediments while sitting. Yeah.
Tolerate then.
Mataji,
Smaranam
following
is
Mataji.
Ekadasi.
Irrespective of any situation, you have to continue to chant.
Irrespective of situation.
Mataji,
Always
practice.
remembering
It is
Mataji.
not
Practice
possible
is
to
most
remember
important.
Krishna at the
Remembering.
time.
Remember,
Still always
remembering.
being an eternal servant of Krishna. Always
Servant of Krishna. What is nice, which Prabhupada have?
It is not possible to remember Krishna at the time of death if we are not continuously practicing it.
Okay, what else? What else do you think? Just, it's very simple. Just see the purport and what is very nice in this purport about how Srila Prabhupada have.
Tolerant as a tree, Mataji.
Tolerance and all is fine. That's all how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said.
Constant practice, Mataji.
Constant practice. Okay, but see, I'm not getting that answer.
Pure,
They can
pure
get that
consciousness,
transcendental
Mataji.
nature of the Supreme Lord.
Just see the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's been written twice. Prabhupada didn't just write just chant Hare Krishna. No, he's like, one should constantly and insistently chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Again, he says towards the end of the purport, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that the end of one's life, one have full benefit of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada could have just written Hare Krishna. Why did he do that? So that those who are reading it for the first time, at least read the whole mantra. So that somebody who takes the book and just open any page, and if at all is this page, they can at least read twice the Mahamantra, right? They may not follow the Bhagavad Gita. They may not read it after that, but at least once. So Prabhupada have, even though it's a small purport, Prabhupada have completely written. So sometimes we put messages to the devotees. You just say HK. We can't even type Hare Krishna. So much lazy we have. Pamo, please accept my humble obeisances. All these all glories to Srila Prabhupada, like AGSP, something like that. I don't like that. Why they do that? HK is just, why can't you type Hare Krishna? Even that we are lazy. See the founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70, he is writing, or he's translating, his purports have the whole Mahamantra written twice. He gives so much importance in chanting the holy name. He didn't say chant the Mahamantra or chant Hare Krishna. No, he's saying the whole mantra. This is very, very, very significant in this purport, because he's telling us this is the only way. One devotee asked me, I'm reading Prabhupada's book every day, like she's reading, but then she's not able to chant 16 rounds. So is it right or not? Is it right or not?
No, Mataji.
Why?
You
Why
have
it's
to
not right?
change.
Mataji, chanting is of most important. Is
Chanting
most important.
purifies.
It purifies
Yeah,
the
Chanting
Yeah, that's
purifies
nice.
the
also purifies.
mantra.
Reading the scriptures, Srimada Swagata Krishna, reading also purifies.
But in Kali Yuga, chanting is the only sacrifice mentioned.
Yes.
Nam Sankirtan is the only.
Nam Sankirtan has to be done. So why did
Yes.
Prabhupada after all write these books? Why did Prabhupada write these books? To make us understand that chanting is very important, right? Every book you take, Prabhupada's book, the final reason Prabhupada says, I wrote all these books to make you understand that chanting is the essence. Yes, reading scriptures is also very important, but then chanting of the 16 rounds has to be done, right? And reading the scriptures also should be part of your life. Every day, you check now before sleeping, did I do my 16 rounds? Similarly, you should check, where did I read Prabhupada's book? At least 1 purport, 2 purports, 10 purports every day should be done. Okay. So how to practice remembrance? Tolerate the impediments like a tree. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hare. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the tree. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a stage, one can chant the holy name of the Lord. So you've seen the straw in the grass. You step on the grass, it bends. It doesn't do anything. Then a tree, how much of a stones you throw or you cut the tree, it just gives you fruits and shade. No? So this is what Mahaprabhu says, make a garland of this verse and put it around your neck. It's very difficult to become like this, but then this is how we should chant. Amanina manadena, give respect to everyone, then don't expect respect from others, and constantly chant the holy name. General law at the time of death. Yam yam vapis manan bhavam tejit ande kalaivaram tam tam evaidika undeya sada tat bhava bhavida. Whatever state, we think, one state of mind at the time of death determines the destination attained in the next life. That's very important. What we think at the time of death is very important. So process of changing one's nature. So remember a nice pastime. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's guru had a disciple, and the disciple had so much intense desire to go to his mother's house. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati didn't leave him. He's like, no, you be in the temple and then serve. Don't go to the mother's house now. So at the time of death, when the death about he had some cancer or something, and he was about to die. So he told his spiritual master, I want to die in Mayapur. I want to just leave my body in Mayapur, Dham, let me go to Mayapur. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati didn't allow him to go to Mayapur. He told him, go to your mother's house now. So he was taken to Calcutta or something, to his mother's house. And on the way, he passed away. He was going to his mother's house, but then he passed away. So what do you think his fate would be? Or what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur did was right or wrong? Why? You got the question, or you got this incident?
Can you repeat, Mataji?
It is correct? Why?
Yes, Mataji. He was thinking about Mayapur.
Yeah, yes, Devi Mataji, excellent. Yeah, so if he would have gone to Mayapur, he would be thinking about his mother. I didn't meet my mother. I didn't meet my mother. He'll be in the dham, but he'll be thinking about his mother. But now, since he was sent to his mother's house, he's like, no, I want to go to Mayapur. I want to go to Mayapur. And his thought was only about the Panchatattwas and Radha Madhav and Mayapur Dham and Ganges and everything, that his consciousness was thinking about Mayapur. So definitely he went back home, back to Godhead. That's what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said. So why did he do that? Because the thinking, our thinking is, this is what's important. This verse establishes the transcendental absorption in Krishna's service and assures the next body to be spiritual or material. Thinking anything will give the same result. That is wrong. It refuses. You just think about the demigods, you go to their planet. You can't go to Krishna. But now he's going to his mother's house, but he was thinking about Mayapur, his dham. Some people live in the dham, but they think about outside world. And people live in the outside world, think about the dham. That's more glorious, right? So thinking about the dham is very important. So Bhakti Siddhanta says, so they made the disciple think about the dham by doing that. So what should we do is, we should not imitate Haridas Thakur. We should live where we are. Sane Siddhar Shuddhikata Tanuman Manobir. Work now and samadhi later. So think about the dham, think about Krishna, and then work. That's very important, because thinking is very, very important, right? It is said that wherever you are sown, you fructify there. Like wherever your seed is put, there that seed should fructify and the flower should come. Similarly, wherever we are, according to our karma, whichever part of the world we are, we should try to do devotional service and try to go back there. Yes, if you are in the dham, very glorious, but our thought should be on the dham, not anything else. So Prabhupada says the best process is chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada have written all these books also to make us understand that chanting is important. So along with that, reading scriptures is also important. You can't say, I'll just chant Hare Krishna and won't read all the scriptures, what Mataji was saying. Then why did Prabhupada do all this? A beautiful story where Prabhupada went to Delhi, and there the High Court judge said that he'll give 10 rupees every month. Then Prabhupada's like, for 10 rupees, he used to come from Vrindavan. And those days, 10 rupees was a big amount. So he was waiting once the High Court judge was not there and the security didn't allow Prabhupada to go inside, Abhay Babu. And then he was there for like 3 hours in the hot sun. He didn't even have his prasadam, nothing. He was just waiting for the 10 rupees. And another person, his god brother, who was near that Gaudiya Matha, saw him standing there in the hot sun for 3-4 hours. And he asked, Abhay Babu, why are you here? So Prabhupada said, this person promised me 10 rupees every month. I want it. So this god brother is like, I will give you the 10 rupees. Gave the 10 rupees and gave him one more 5 rupees and said, please change your dress and have some prasadam. You look so tired. And then Abhay Babu, Prabhupada took that money, went directly to the printing press and gave that 15 rupees. He didn't even eat. He didn't have any sense gratification. And he told, how much of books you can print with this money, please do print. Prabhupada have taken so much, so much trouble and struggle for us. And we are just keeping our books as it is in our house. We're not even reading it. Cats and dogs can't read, right? Humans can read, or we can have the intelligence to read. So why don't we read? That's reading is also important along with the chanting. But yes, chanting should not be avoided. So why you read? So that you become more fixed in chanting, so that you increase your consciousness while chanting. So that's why reading is also important, the Shastras. And how to make sure that one think of Krishna at the time of death, practice remembering Krishna during one's life and not just as death. So Srila Prabhupada quotes example of Bharat Maharaj becoming a deer. But why Krishna was Krishna cruel to Bharat Maharaj to make him a deer after all the devotional service he have done? Was Krishna partial, or was Krishna, see, Ajamila and did all the sinful activities and then got a second chance. But Bharat Maharaj, yes, Dinesh Prabhu?
He was kind to Janak Maharaj because he permitted to the fulfillment of his wish or desire.
Okay, but he became a deer. Ajamila, on the other hand, got a second chance and went back home, back to Godhead. Yes, anybody else like to try? Yes, Krishna was kind to him. Dinesh Prabhu is right. The first part of your answer is right. Krishna was definitely kind to everyone. Krishna will never do anything bad to anyone.
Because if given limited independence to each and every soul.
Yeah, he gives the minute independence. Don't interfere in. But then why why do you say he was kind to Bharat Maharaj? That's my question.
Even in dear life, he had the.
He was a devotee, Mataji. He was a
in the dear devotee. Life also, yes, Deval Mataji.
He had the remembrance of God, and he knew
had the remembrance. Then
he knew what mistake he did in his past life.
Then
so that's why he constantly remembered.
Then after that, what did he become?
Jad Bharat.
Ah, so he became Jada Bharat and gave transcendental advice to Rahaguna Maharaj. So definitely that is Krishna's plan. If Bharat Maharaj didn't become a deer and remembered all that and didn't become Jada Bharat, who's going to deliver Rahaguna Maharaj? So that's again Krishna's another plan, Krishna's double mercy to deliver Rahaguna Maharaj and also to give transcendental knowledge to Bharat Maharaj, Jada Bharat. So yes, so that is again Krishna's plan there. Okay. So Jada Bharat means who doesn't have any material attachment, Jada. Okay. So thinking of Krishna always while performing one's duty is very important, right? Mamanasmara Yudhyacha, that's what Krishna says to Arjuna. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mamanasmara Yudhyacha, mai arpita mano buddhir mame vaishyasi asamshayaha. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So think about Krishna in the form of Krishna. What is that? The Shyam Sundar form, not any other form. So Arjuna may think remembering may be better advice than fighting. Krishna clears this misconception by saying, Mam Anusvara Yudhyacha, think about me and fight. So throughout life, practice remembering Krishna by dedicating mental, intellectual, and physical activities to Lord Krishna's service. So mentally, we can think of Krishna in the form of Krishna, chant the holy name. Physically, we can carry out a prescribed duty of fighting dedicated to Krishna, whatever karma. Intellectually, your mind and intelligence can be fixed on Krishna by reading the scriptures. Result is the freedom from all material contamination and surety to attain Krishna. So how do we practice this? Constantly chant the Hare Krishna and continue our duty. Performing actions, active devotional service through your prescribed duties. Okay, so quick breakout room, 5 minutes. You have to say the connection between the Bhagavad Gita chapters 7 and 8. Very simple question. Just a connecting link. What do you think is connecting the 2 chapters? Okay, 7 and 8. So one room is back now. We'll wait for the other room to come. Hare Krishna. So all are back. Place to close the breakout room. No, one room is not back. Room number 3 is not back. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so all are back. Yes. Okay. So let's start with room number 1. Who's speaking? Anida Mataji, Neeraja Mataji, Priyadarshini Mataji, Sri Devi Mataji, Sudha Mataji. Yes. Yes, Sudha Mataji, you can speak. Oh, wait. I can, yeah, you can unmute now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Actually, we all of us, we discussed and we came to this thing here in the 7th chapter. It talks about we get the knowledge about the Lord. Like it is telling all explains the nature of Krishna consciousness, and then it tells us all the information that all the qualities of the Lord and his all pervading nature. He's omnipotent, and all these things we come to know in chapter 7. And in chapter 8, Mataji, it tells us how to attain Krishna. Like then we get the knowledge of how to attain Krishna. And Krishna answers all the questions of Arjuna in chapter 8.
Yes.
That is that is what we discussed, Mataji. And if anything else is there, Priyadarshini Mataji, if I've left any point, just
Can we go to discussed it?
The omnipotent nature of the
Yes.
That's it, ma'am.
Okay. So room number 2. Halka Mataji, Kumar Prabhu, Rekha Mataji. Who's speaking? Room number 2. Yeah, Supriya Mataji. Yes.
Mataji, we all discussed on the connection between chapter 7 and chapter 8. So while chapter 7 talks about the self-knowledge and the enlightenment, chapter 8 talks about providing insights into the journey of the soul and what happens at the time of death. So the basic connection between chapter 7 and chapter 8 is that there is a combined teaching that happens between the nature of the divine, the path of realization, and how to attain the liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So that is how it starts from the knowledge of what exactly is the self-realization. And once you get the knowledge, how do you use it towards the time of a death and get yourself liberated from the birth and death cycle. That's all it's saying.
Okay. Anyone likes to add anything in that room? Okay, or we'll go to the next room. Yes, Aravind Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, the question is about the connecting link between chapter 7 and chapter 8. Chapter 7 talks about that Lord Krishna is the supreme truth, the supreme cause and sustaining force of everything, both material and spiritual. Advanced souls surrender unto him in devotion, whereas the empire souls divert their minds to other objects of worship. While the chapter 7 talks about the two types of devotees. Now coming to the chapter 8, it talks that by remembering Lord Krishna in devotion throughout one's life, and especially at the time of death, one can attain to his supreme abode beyond the material world. So the connecting link is chapter 7 talks about the devotees and non-devotees, while the chapter 8 talks that the devotee, while remembering holy name of Krishna at the time of death, reaches the eternal abode Vaikuntha. This is the connecting link.
Okay. So yes, so we saw the connection between chapter 7 and 8. So such questions are asked in so many times it is asked in Bhakti Shastri. Okay, such questions are asked. Okay. So Kumar Prabhu, you didn't write the closed book exam. You wrote, no?
I wrote, madam. Yeah, madam.
And you got the marks?
Yeah, madam.
Oh, okay. Because there's always confusion between Kishore Kumar and Kumar Prabhu. So, I can't raise your marks. That's why.
I wrote, Mataji.
And we have shown you the marks, no? That day?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Might be somewhere. Just. Okay. So. Okay. So, only I could not raise. Anita Mataji, can you resend it? Rest everyone, so it's fine. What happened is, yeah, Aravind Prabhu, you have given nice detailed explanation. So I feel that it is nice. Like all the analogies have been mentioned nicely, and you have given the explanations also nicely. So it's good. Little detailed, but it's okay. Like it is. You can little shorten it, but then nicely you have given the explanation, so it was good. And Sarvanandri Padma Devitasi Mataji, like I don't know, might be confusion happened at the Shraddha, that step. There's no Nishta written there. You had only 7 steps or something. I think something was missing. Nishta was missing. Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, and Athanimati, Nishta. Then Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. No? So that Nishta was missing there. Manishya Mataji, the 8 steps of fall down somewhere went wrong. So please correct it. That is contemplation of objects, then attachment, then all that, no? Last and all that. So that steps, please be careful. And Nima Mataji, you didn't explain the Shraddha. That many got that mistake. Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya. At least Shraddha means faith, Sadhusanga means association of devotees. Because whenever you quote Sanskrit terms like Shraddha, Sadhusanga, you're supposed to give the English terms also. And Kishore Kumar Prabhu, yes, you have explained nicely. Anita Mataji, only your I don't know, somewhere it's missing. Please resend it to me again in WhatsApp.
Mataji,
Okay.
what about mine?
Mataji, when my name is not.
These were the people who have put in the chat. So I've just given you on the reply. Manushi Mataji, we have given the reply, right? I have given. Who else?
Mataji, you have. Thank you.
Mataji, mine, Sudha.
Sudha Mataji. You Sudha Subhash Shetty?
Yeah.
Did you resend? Only half was visible.
No, I resend it in your WhatsApp, no, Mataji. Last week only.
Can you
I
resend
told-
it again, please? Somehow I missed it.
Okay, Mataji.
It's,
I'll send it.
my phone is
I'll-
hanging also. So please
Okay.
resend. Yes, Shubha Madhuri, please resend. It's my problem. I could not trace it. What else? Supriya Mataji, Supriya.
Shiv Sagar Mataji.
Yeah, here.
Oh,
You have written it nicely. Okay, then who else? Everyone else got? I'll give the sloka marks next week because I'm just working on this. I'll come Mataji marks to say. Everyone else got? Kumar Prabhu, I could not trace your marks. That's why I asked you.
Number 3, Mataji, Surendra Kumar Reddy Padala.
Oh, this.
Yeah,
This
yes,
is what
Mataji.
happens. See, whenever you are giving your attendance, whenever you are coming to the class or writing the exam, please come in your full name, okay? Because I'm like, who is Surendra Kumar, who is Kumar, who is Kishore Kumar? Everything is confusion. You know,
Okay, ma'am.
sometimes, okay, no problem. Yeah, thank you. Bro.
Mataji, please check, Mataji. I resend it to you.
Can you see it?
Yes, yes, I got. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna. So, I'll do it now. Okay. Rest everyone can draw. They can leave. Yeah, I'll correct it. The spelling I'll correct it. Okay. Name is in the list, but the only thing is I have to trace it. So what happens? Whatever name you have entered in your attendance list, that's what will be sent to Mayapur. Whatever name you have given in your Google form for uploading your open and closed book, that name will be given to Mayapur. So please correct it. Give the right name. Whenever you come in the class, also please come in the right name, because some people come as iPhone and all. Because this is Bhakti Shastri and everything. If something goes wrong somewhere, the whole slot get rejected. You won't get the certificate. So let's do it rightly. Okay. And next time onwards, no WhatsApp, no email. I have told it some 100 times. Please send it in the Google form itself, because we're going to send that form to them, not like individual. It's not sent to them, to Mayapur Institute. We send the whole form, a Google form with all your attendance and everything. So please do it. Okay. I think we can end here. Only Sudha Mataji's and who else?
Myself, Anita.
Anita Mataji. Yeah. They both can stay, others can leave. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Patitanam Bhavani Vaishnavi